culture and not only is media and the culture and the whole Western society and all of the rest of the world say that you giving in makes you lose, but we actually see with our own eyes. That guy cut in front of, I got there later than he did because I wasn't the nice guy.
Well, I let him in and he was the millionth shopper and he got the, free shopping spree.
Where do you shop?
I don't know. That would happen. That would be the thought running through my mind.
Right.
You're going to let that person in there. They're going to get the last item where, everything is, it's that world.
So here is
the
tool that can set you free from all of this suffering about that. Hold on one second. The tool is that if he's the millionth shopper and he goes and he gets a free shopping spree and he gets $2,000 worth of stuff, right? And then he gets home and one of the things has rotten chicken and his kids get sick. I don't know. God forbid. Maybe he
has a good thing.
Okay, I don't want to wish him bad.
Maybe he let into someone else before and then so he's winning.
Yeah, maybe he let someone else. Okay, that's good. But the other thing is, who can measure? Like, unless you're God, you're not sitting there with a, one of those abacuses, those things. Anyone even know what I'm talking about?
No, you're dating yourself. No one knows what abacuses.
Right. But the thing is, you're calculating. When you're calculating, who knows what a calculator is? I have that thing on my phone. But anyways, the thing is that nobody is calculating that. You can just guarantee one thing: if you give in, you will succeed in ways you can't imagine. Now, does that mean you're a doormat? And that you let everybody, oh, okay, fine, okay, yeah, fine, whatever. And you spend your life like letting people cut you, whatever. You're never on time because everyone in the grocery line, I've just got 2 items. I just have 7. I just have 42. I just have 182. Everybody's cutting you because you have to go, let's go. But there's a time and a place to Mavatar to give in. And whenever you can and how often you can, that's what's powerful. That's what's going to bring blessing into your home. You may see it, you may not see it. Sometimes it's so beautiful. You'll do something and you'll be really annoyed to do it and you'll give in. And then you've been waiting for this phone call for 3 weeks or whatever. You'll give in, you'll say, okay, fine. And then you're like kind of regretting that you gave in. You ever have that? You did it and then you're like, why did I let them, go ahead? Now I've got to wait here for 20 minutes, And then you'll get a phone call from a place and the place that you're waiting for. And they'll say, oh yeah, we'd love to send you money or whatever it is that you're waiting for. So sometimes you can see it. And at the times you see it, you should really make a big deal of it in your heart and your mind and really soak it in. At the times you don't see it, try and remember those times, because a lot of times, I don't know what the percentage is. What Rebbetzin Kolodetsky said to me is, you will always win if you give in. Always.
Yeah, so Sarah, who's amazing on Facebook and said about the culture, added that the culture doesn't value spiritual, so we need to constantly remind ourselves, and this class is part of it. So very grateful for your class for reminding it.
Is there an app for going to hug?
Yeah, to hug. Yeah, that's Sarah, you just got a hug, a Facebook hug. Facebook will come up with that.
There we go.
And then another viewer on Facebook, Noemi, who agreed and said, it's so sad that society is messing up our relationships and people don't even realize it.
That's true. So here's the thing. We can be the strong ones and understand from what you talk about, the devaluation of the spiritual realm. It's not even that they devalue it. It's that they don't even sort of acknowledge. It's like, it's not taught that there's a spiritual world and spiritual realm and how things work. Yeah, it's all here. What you can get, physical, everything. It's physical. And the beautiful thing is, once you start recognizing the spiritual aspects of things and that there's a true judge of what's happening and that, what goes around comes around, it really does. And it's really true. You're freed of a whole lot of anxiety. And this is the class today is about why am I always stressed out? This is part of it. You're just ratcheted down of things didn't go exactly where you wanted them to, but they went exactly how they were supposed to go. And that in its sense just tones it down. And what we're going to be doing, the one tool that I want you to take home with you that you have forever, because there's knowledge and information and then there's insight. Insight allows you to flip. So when you're standing there, I'm just going to use a silly example. You're 2 people stopped at a stop sign. Okay. You both got there at the same time. If you got there first, go. Okay, just go. Don't be, whatever, unless you have a lot of extra time on your hand and the person looks very stressed out over there, but just go. But if you get there in about the same time, practice in yourself letting them go first. Just letting them go. Giving in, letting them go. It'll give you the tools and the strength to do so with your husband, and it will give you the tools and the strength to be able to understand there's another realm of blessing available to me that I can tap into with this. Fantastic.
Sarah, by the way, got your hug.
Oh,
she said,
good.
got the hug.
Got the hug.
So you named her
You had a question on this topic?
She got it spiritually.
She got, yeah. Oh, yeah, Sarah, a spiritual hug.
See, there we go. Okay,
It's
sorry.
about spirituality.
You had a question.
I thought you were going to give more of a spiritual answer to your question that you posed about why is it hard? Kind of like when certain things are so hard to do, like the Satan is there making it even harder. Little guy on your
Right.
shoulder.
So you're talking about, you're going to
That little guy
Yeah.
with the horns.
You're going to the second question now. We covered that topic of giving in, of forgiveness, of giving in. Now we're going back to why is it so hard to put
Yeah,
our husband
so
first? And
you
you're
can
saying
understand that in a relation, like why that's hard in a relationship on that kind of level, but on a spiritual level, sometimes when things are harder, so you get like more schar.
you get more reward. Yeah,
'Cause
that's
it's harder.
that's definitely true. It's definitely true. But here is the insidious part of why it's so hard to put our husband first. And part of it is what, what's her name? Sarah had said about the fact that that he's not putting us first. Okay? So here's the bad news and good news. They are the same news. Okay? The bad news is it is absolutely accurate that the wife is putting the husband first, and the husband isn't necessarily putting the wife first. Don't hit me. Right? Okay. The husband does not put the wife first. That's from our traditions, 3,000-year-old tradition. But here's the issue. God created you as a relationship being. There are some really wonderful guys. My husband's one of them. A lot of, in the planet Earth, your husbands are, whatever, amazing people. They don't have in their pinky what we do in terms of relationship ability. Now, there's some women who don't have that, and they're, kind of stone-hearted and mean, and whatever. Okay, whatever. I'm talking broad generalizations, and the rule about never do broad generalizations. You get everything wrong. Okay, but I'm just saying, as a whole, women are relationship beings, and men are doer people. They do. Okay, doesn't mean we're not important to them. It doesn't mean that they don't love us with their whole entire self. But they're, in terms of priority, they're over here, they're doing work, they're doing that.
They're solvers.
They're solvers.
Right.
Yeah, that's good. They're
And they're not
solvers.
multitaskers.
You're not looking
So they're
for-
focused. When
you're
they're
not
focused
looking
on
for
one
thing,
thing,
they're
that's all
just
they're
solved
focused on.
always.
Right. So here's the thing. In a world of equality, there I said the word. Okay. In a world of equality, you would say a man and a woman should be equal. If I'm putting him first, he should put me first. So again, as I've said here before, and I will repeat it because it's a hard. I'm operating against 60 years of disinformation or misinformation. And equality in the workplace is absolutely vital. We should be all embarrassed that we make 67 cents on a man's dollar. Okay? Horrible. In the workplace, equality is a very, very good measure of the success of a corporation. At home, it makes no sense. In the home, the accurate measure for success is shalom, peace. Is there peace in the home or not? Now, we are relationship beings, and how do we know that? Because when God created us, he said, I will create for Adam a helpmate opposite him. It didn't say, I will create somebody who's absolutely equal to him and has the same strengths and weaknesses and exactly like him. No, it said a helpmate opposite him. That means our soul role, our main role, not our soul role, our main role is to take care of our husbands and our relationships. Okay. So yes, it is seem unfair that we make him our priority, top priority, and he doesn't do it backwards. But here's what you get for doing this. This is the good news part. Remember I said bad news, good news. So the bad news is it isn't equal. And the good news is that when you make your husband your number one priority, you are happier. You. So it's not there is a whole way the world works. God made you to do this. And when you do it and you do it well, all manner of blessing comes into your home. And your husband, who is aloof, I'm not going to take, you don't have to raise your hand, but how many husbands are aloof and he comes home late and he's off here and off there, whatever. The minute a woman makes her husband their number one priority, all of a sudden their husband's whole world, he's like all over this, like that. Now he's their number one priority. He's like, he can't help but keep coming back to you because you're his light shining into his face by making him number one. If you don't do that, then he's just going to, it's you. And when you have your husband's full understanding of who you are for him, there's an amount of love that starts to pour into you that you may never have felt before. It's awesome. It's awesome. And it's all been designed like, sometimes you see one of these technological pieces of equipment and you're looking at it. It's mind-boggling. This thing goes there and there, and then it rotates and it's mechanical and then it's got a beep and a remote and a whatever. This is like looking at that. You're looking at the workings of how God created us to have the maximum amount of satisfaction and joy in our life. And the beauty here, you don't have to take my word for it. This is a try this at home activity. Try and make your husband your priority by, if you're bathing the kids, don't jump out and just yell, I'm coming down in a couple of minutes, welcome home. When he calls you, don't say, oh, you can't believe what happened. He calls and say, and you're in the middle of insanity. And you're like, hi, how's everything? You ever have, we can all do this, right? Because we're in the middle of fighting with somebody and you can't believe it. The phone rings. Yes, hello, principal. Yes, what's doing? Hi, how's everything, right? Okay, we know how to do this. That's the level of putting him first that will bump you up to the next level of joy in your life. Try this at home. We got to get on to today's topic. Anything else? Okay, fine. I'm just going to also recap last week's Leah's secret of the day. The more clarity you have about what is most important, the less stress you will have in your life. And the homework for the week was take one definitive action of putting your husband as your priority. Oh, I really want to hear people's answers. Oh, no. Okay, we'll spend like 2 minutes on who was able to do the homework.
Come on, somebody. Other people do it. Just say what you did. Okay, other people do it. I'm not the only one who does the homework.
But you're the other one who reports.
But by the way, I'm benefiting, so hey, yay to me. I'm $1 million, so whatever it is.
There you go.
But no, I actually put him in the priority where he saw it, that I was really hot, and he actually was feeling very cold.
Sorry, we knew that all along.
Right there.
There you go.
And he was cold, and rather than the norm for me to say put on a sweater or go get a jacket, because it's very hard when you're hot to have kids. I'm not gonna just suddenly be able to take things off to make myself cooler. I actually went downstairs and I turned on the heat for him, and he was in the bedroom. He says, oh, wow, was the heat turned on? And I said, yeah. Oh, and I turned it on for you. And I actually put him first because it was very uncomfortable for me to be hot. But, right, I'm telling you, no joke. Yeah.
What did she say?
She's saying that it's menopause. No.
You're getting up there.
Yeah, no, she just said I'm getting up there. I know, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anyways, but the bottom line is I really it was about him and not saying to him, cover up or take another sweater. Or
so let's dissect this. What allowed you to do that?
The homework.
What gave you the, that's, yeah. Can you imagine going all the way downstairs,
Yeah.
turning it and going all the way up. And how come you didn't report it immediately? You know what I mean? Like, right? Like,
Right? To come in and be like, I turned on the heat for you. And when I'm sweating and passing out, it's going to be your fault.
Well, first of all, get an ice maker. So you get a crunchy one, you know, with the heavy thing.
No, I
on.
did ask him to give me a cold water that we have a little refrigerator in the room.
Okay.
I'm like, could you pass me a cold water? And I'm like,
All right. Okay. But what
No,
allowed
thank
you
God.
to be able to, because we want to be able to, first of all, we all want to take example of what she did. And second of all, we want to be able to replicate it again and again. The way you get a muscle, right? It doesn't like you go to the gym, lift, and go home and now it's done. No, you as you're going, you can do more and more and more, and you want to work the
Right.
muscle. So what
no, but
is
I've
the
been
muscle?
doing it a lot in general since you said even our past homework, which was prioritizing him without him knowing about it.
Right.
So I've been doing a lot of that. And when I'm making the beds, I made his first. When I'm putting down things, I put down his things first. When I'm putting away things, I'll deal with his things first. So I'm doing a lot of that. So it's constantly
Gold
sort of
star
on
student.
there.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
you know, I
hey,
told you,
guys.
teacher's pet.
Hello. That's
So I'm
inspirational.
doing that already, which I
Uh-huh.
think I've never taken credit for it, and I've never done it per se so clearly to him. So here I was
Doing it more.
bumping it up a little
But
bit.
how
and
did you
saying,
not say anything? That's the part I think we could all learn from.
You know what? I probably would have said something. Meaning, I came
you're
up
biding
and
your time.
I think he had heard. Yeah, I think he heard it, and I was waiting for him to feel a little bit.
But if he hadn't
warmer.
noticed or whatever,
No, I probably would have said it.
which I think is good. Frankly, I think
I probably
that's
would have
good.
been like, I probably would have made him. I'm still at the point where I make him feel that I've done so much when I do nice things for him.
That's good.
I want,
Okay.
I
All
want.
right,
I still want to get.
Gold star.
I'm still not selfless. I still want to get the credit.
No, well, look, you got to train yourself. You got to make yourself. If you don't get the appreciation for the
Right,
first
right.
1,000 times, right? If you don't get that appreciation from the get-go, you're going to lose your enthusiasm for it. So it's
Right.
ain't nothing wrong for that with that. And frankly, I still all the time say, I text him. I think I've told this before. I don't know. BWE.
Yeah,
Best wife ever. Like I'll do something and whatever, and he'll text me like frantic. Did you remember to open the back door for the so-and-so is going to drop by this thing, whatever. And I'll just smiley face. Yeah. BWE. And he'll say, ain't that the truth? Or he'll send a heart or
Did he
something.
start-
Not a heart.
Did
He
he start
sends a clap.
texting you BWE before you got a chance to do that?
That's a good point. I don't know. I wouldn't expect. Actually,
That's pushing it.
He has done a couple of BWEs, but the point I'm saying, you've got to reward your goof. You got to reward yourself, your body, for what efforts you put in there. And whether it's him saying you did a great job, or you call a girlfriend and you say, I just want you to know I ran here, I ran there, whatever. Be careful, because then you might come to say bad things about your husband, which isn't good. You need to always,
Let's lower the brag,
It's
You
okay.
should tell
with
your
the
friends
brag.
what you did.
Well,
I'm an amazing wife.
They can learn. They can learn from that. For sure, they can learn from that, and they should learn from that. If you're doing great things, unless you're saying, you got to know the friend. Listen, we're going to have a whole section on friends. But I'm going to give you the standing on one foot version of friends. Is that everybody needs to have friends that you can call and say, "Oh, you poor thing," to. That they say, "Oh, you poor thing. Like, this happened, and then that happened, and then oh, you poor thing." Everyone needs that, okay? Because if you put that heavy weight on your husband and he has to do that, first of all, guys aren't really that great at it. They're like, "Let me fix it," okay? So you need to have girlfriends for that. But if in a friendship, and we're going to get to a whole section on friendship in quite some time, if you are doing most of the complaining and they're doing most of the listening, it's not as good of a friendship as it could be. It's more like a teacher and a student or something like that. If you're doing all the listening and they're doing all the complaining and whatever, then you're kind of, it's got to be somewhat equal fetching. Okay. You got to complain to them about as much as they complain to you. That's the definition of a good friend. Okay. That it's kind of like you can each share with each other what's going on in each other's life. Okay, fine. Okay. Let's get back right to the topic. Okay, fine. We're starting finally. This is the new topic for today. Why am I always so stressed out? Anybody relate to this a little bit? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, a little. Okay. One of my students, and her name is. Anybody? Throw out a name.
Somebody give a name.
Think of a name.
So many already now.
Come, what's her name?
Rachel.
Rachel. Fine. One of my students, Rachel, called me up with the following challenge. She lives in a 3-bedroom apartment One of the bedrooms is she and her husband and she, them, the two of them, whatever that is. Okay. The other bedroom is 3 children. The other bedroom is her mother-in-law.
Wow. It's fun.
Small apartment, L-shaped living room, dining room. Okay. So they all, it's yeah. Okay. That's how she lives. She is frazzled beyond belief. Totally frazzled from morning to night. By the time she gets the kids off to school, and an hour later, her mother-in-law off to adult daycare, her mother does go for whatever, she has about 3 hours a day to get the house, everything done, to take care of herself, to get the dishes done, to what else do you have? Get supper, do laundry, grocery shop, run errands. Yeah, we know
She's like, yes,
Right,
let me
right.
tell you what I swim into all day.
Right. Yeah. So she's got about 3 hours, which is like no time, before the toddlers come back from their thing. She's perennial. She said, I'm perennial sleep deprived. Like there's never a time when I'm not like, I couldn't fall asleep like this, because she said, is insomnia? Are you out of your mind? I know if insomnia is like, I fall asleep while I'm sitting up, During dinner, she can fall asleep. She said she has no time for self-care. That's like a joke when she said, oh, everybody should have self-care. She's like, are they out of their mind, So the only time she ever has a moment to exhale is Shabbos on Saturdays. Okay, Friday, usually Saturday after lunch on Shabbos. She has time, and she said, and that time is completely ruined because she spends the entire time sitting there. It's about an hour and a half, feeling guilty that she should be playing games with her kids or taking them for a walk or doing some interaction or bonding with them or whatever. So even though she has, quote unquote, like an hour and a half before she has to start doing other stuff, like she has an hour and a half, she says it's not downtime. It shouldn't be called downtime. And she said, and I said, what do you do? She said, I'm sitting in a chair and I read magazines and I read a book and I, whatever, it's my time. She doesn't take a nap or whatever. So that's her time. But she said, it's constant interruptions and it's not, fun. So my first question is, what is the downside of Rachel having so much stress in her life? It's obvious, no? Let's hear.
I don't have a good feel of the situation. Like, is she happy? Why is she so stressed? So she's tired. I get that. That's extremely difficult to be so tired.
Mm-hmm.
Does she, I can't imagine she loves living with her mother-in-law. Does she hate it? Is her mother-in-law hard on her? Is she always correcting
She
her?
said that. She said
Like,
it's fine.
What's
she said the
causing
relationship
stress?
between
There could be people in that situation that love their life. They could be tired, but they could still be very happy and love their life. So what's the horrible part of her life?
That's good. She said her relationship with her mother-in-law is good. She said, it's not she wouldn't recommend it necessarily.
Right,
but she said, as these things go, and
yeah.
apparently her mother-in-law is kind of around a corner, so she doesn't, she has a little bit of privacy. It's on the other side of
So
something.
what is stressing her out?
But why? Yeah, why? Yeah, I was gonna say, but no, what?
she's tired?
No, you don't see the stress in her life. She's in a tiny apartment in a 2x2.
Yeah.
Everyone's on top of each other.
Okay.
Literally, there's
There's
no
a lot
like.
of people that live like that are very happy.
I don't
She
know
has a
very many.
3-bedroom apartment.
I don't know very many.
Are you kidding?
No, I
Yeah,
know
no,
few
no, I know.
exactly.
Why don't you go walk the streets of Israel?
No. Oh, come on! You cannot bring up Israel.
What are you
It's
talking
like
about,
bringing
Sabine?
it in a country where it's a
I'm sorry.
sorry.
Yeah, go to Detroit. There's tons
That
of
are
people
living
that are happy
like that to be kids in one apartment.
Of course. Sorry, it's not.
I think
exactly
most
like
people-
roughing
I
it.
think
She's
most
got a
people-
house with-
I think most people are.
I'm not getting what's so horrible. The tired thing
I
I
know time
totally
is
get.
everything.
The tired thing can put you over the edge. You can't. I think it's the tired thing. Like, so you have to know what to address.
Say this again. What she doesn't work.
You know, by the way, the whole group here, I just want to let our viewers know that everyone in this room takes off for an hour to come to the ladies' talk show, has housekeeping help, has a house, and is sitting there going, what could be so hard? It is hard. It is very hard for her.
Listen, she's
I don't
raising
even
her kids. We
understand
all
that.
raise little kids. It's very physically draining.
She needs help in there. She needs a housekeeper. That's all.
Now there's not-
It will take away
Right?
most
I
of her
know
load.
help.
I don't know. That's why I'm saying I don't have a good feel of the situation.
Wait, everyone's talking at once, so we can't hear anybody. What'd you say?
Do you have more information about her? Like, what's her like? What part is stressing her out? Is it that she's tired? Is that she doesn't have
She
help?
feels like her day is a blur. She
Because
wakes
she's
up.
so tired.
She's so tired, and also personally.
Yeah, I think everyone's is like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all raised Hashem, a lot of little kids.
Yeah, but it makes it much easier.
It
You
makes
don't have
it
to
so
do
much
beds,
easier.
no laundry,
When I'm
no
working
laundry,
with my 2 kids, I know that I could give my son to my house. She doesn't have any help. Give me a
She
break.
cannot afford
What'd you
it.
say? Hold on. Everyone.
Does she not have any extra help because she cannot afford it?
Yes, that's not in the
They
budget.
can afford it. So she doesn't have any extra.
But I don't think necessarily. I mean, this isn't a show about help and having less to do.
Right, I didn't get
It's
that
how do you
feel.
deal with what you're already given. I mean, like this is what she's dealing with, and maybe there's some logistic things. Maybe she could trade off with a friend, and they watch her kids for 2 hours, and she watches their kids for 2 hours. You know, there's some
But she
logistic
has 3
stuff.
hours.
Right, she has 3 hours.
That's a lot.
No, but 3
Yeah,
hours.
the question
is
is
anything. She is 3 hours.
There's
There's
no
no housekeeper.
90% of the world lives. You're making like she's in some sort
Yeah,
of
but
freak
she's
situation.
stressed.
Yeah.
Whatever her situation is, she's stressed. I think that's a given.
So it's not a matter of how much stress, it's a matter of how she handles it.
Yeah, exactly. It's all in perspective. It's all her perspective.
And you brought up a brilliant point, which is she's not working. Like really, like everything's in the house. Like hello, what's the
It
big deal?
doesn't sound horrible, but again, someone could be in a mansion with 20 maids and be miserable. It's all perspective. It doesn't mean that she's wrong to feel this way. It just means she needs to realize how she's feeling and address her situations. But someone could have 30 housekeepers and 30 bedrooms and no mother-in-law and be way worse
Stressed out.
stressed out. Yeah, so it's not.
Yeah, no, I actually had someone call me crying to me because her housekeeper left and she had 1 kid and a huge house.
I totally get
Okay,
Let's not judge anybody.
hold on a
I
second.
can.
Can I tell you something? I have to just tell you
I'm not
something.
judging. I'm saying I don't understand.
Can I
why
tell you?
she's so
I was
stressed.
really, I
I'm
did
judging
not
her.
know how to answer the question. I did
Right,
not.
So which
hold
part
on.
of it so that we can help her? Which part is stressing
It's
her
stressful.
out?
Hold on, let me explain this one thing.
Change her mind, or it's a given that she's stressed.
Yeah, she's stressed. Hold on a second. When I got that call from the woman, I said, oh, it's very good. Let me call you back. I'm in the middle of something. Oh, we'll talk later. And I called my Rav saying, well, what do I do with this? Like, I just want to say, you brat, you know, are you crazy? Ah! You know, and because she didn't work and she had full-time help and her kid wasn't home half the day, you know. So I was like,
What did she do? I don't know.
she was, maybe she's not capable. She was sobbing she was sobbing that her housekeeper left.
Okay, but then with all these things, I'm not judging.
Let me
this
tell you what the
lady.
rabbi said. Let me tell you what
It's
the rabbi said.
someone's perspective is very real reality, and they need to be helped through it. It's not judging her, God forbid, to say like you don't deserve to be stressed. If she's stressed for no reason, she's still stressed, and she could. But people can be helped. It's not like
No, is
Oh,
your
you're
question
stressed for no
how do
reason?
we
how can
change her attitude, or is it something else?
Yeah, how
Because her
can we?
reality is she's stressed.
Right.
So-
So why? So
Let
we
me
can
tell you what
help
the
her.
rabbi said.
say to the woman who had no housekeeping help, but
Right, who was leaving? Her housekeeper was leaving,
who had
and she had full-time housekeeping help. Well, I guess sure he did a big house.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what the rabbi said to me. He said, everybody has their challenge. And even if we personally can, you know, judge them as like really like it would be easy, whatever, for whatever reason, that's her test and that's her, whatever. You can't judge and you have to call her back and tell her, I'm so sorry this happened. What do you think we can do about this? And give her the compassion that she deserves. And I didn't think she deserved compassion, but he said she deserved compassion. So anyway, this woman has stress on, you know, some of us would say, yeah, that's not such a big deal. What's causing her stress? Whatever it is,
I'm
she
not
is
saying it's not
stressed
saying
beyond.
what is it so we can help her. I'm not understanding which
Right.
part is stressing her out. Is it the tired thing? Because that I
Just
totally
too much
can
for
relate to
herself,
her.
tired, never a
Sounds like
moment
she
to
has
herself.
Too much to do. And
What'd you
too
say?
little time for her. It's
Yeah.
not enough time for her to do it. So if she delegates some of this work out, then to me it's a no-brainer.
Right. So that can be solved perhaps by trading. You know, I'll watch your kids while you know. So she maybe has an extra, maybe in the hour and a half where she has her time, maybe she gives them to a friend, and then for Shel Shudis, whatever, she has their friends' kids over something. You know, there could be logistics to solving it.
I'm still completely blown away that this is even a confusion to anybody. This is a woman who's probably waking up at 5:36 because she has toddlers
Right.
who are getting her up early. She's nonstop until they get out of the house. She's dealing then with her mother-in-law who she has to take off and get her off. And then she has 3 hours with no help where she has to fit in everything that she has to do to take care of a house, to clean it, to do the laundry, to get things done, to call up.
So you're saying it's too much?
It's huge.
Yeah.
Beyond belief huge. I don't
Right.
even understand that it would be
Questionable.
uncomprehendable. To me, I would feel that this woman, I don't even know how she does it. Like she said, without help, that she's able to live and in a 3-bedroom apartment and still be able to not feel like she wants to.
And she said
come out
there's
of her
no place
skin.
for anything. Like
No,
someone takes a
Nothing.
sweater
Yes,
off.
everything. I can imagine her place. Everything's all over. But I have friends in similar situations that literally are just. I cry for them every day because they don't know how
So
they live.
hold on. Here's my next question for you. Is the core of her problem circumstances or her attitude about her circumstances?
It's both.
It's both?
I think it's
Okay, why?
I think it's both
Yes.
because
Attitude.
But let's hear
if
her.
she had a good attitude, she still has too much to do. It's a physical thing. It's not like
Yeah.
it's her.
Yeah.
You know, she really does have. It sounds like, and she has to eat lunch for herself and make dinner and like clean up from the kids' breakfast. It's a lot. Make all the beds. It's a lot.
Yeah.
She wasn't making the beds. That was
She's
not.
making
That
beds.
dropped.
She's leaving the
Yeah.
beds till the ending. I think she's
Okay,
doing
that's
laundry
not
on the
even
bed.
but
The
kids
beds
come
are the
home
same
for, like-
linen for 2 months, probably.
Okay, so then that's what I'm saying. She's
Like,
like,
we actually
going on. She
slept
needs
covered.
it's not even her attitude. So if her attitude changes, she might not be as stressed out about it. She'll just be more like, okay, great, but she still is gonna have stuff.
So
that
she has
to
the
do.
It depends
logistic
where she's
problems.
coming from and what she's used to.
Correct, for sure, but it doesn't matter. I came from much less, and the minute I got a housekeeper,
Right, maybe she never had a housekeeper to even get used to that.
right? But I mean, it's really hard. It's really hard.
So what are the potential attitude shifts that she could take? And we'd want to hear from the teleconference people also and the Facebook people.
Star six if you're in
So if you want a
teleconference. If you'd
teleconference,
like
talk
to
to us.
add in a comment.
Right.
If
And-
you like to tell us that we're all crazy or that this is perfectly normal or the fact that she's stressed is not normal.
So-
We're the Real Housewives of Hancock Park.
I
So
know.
if anyone has an opinion that's in no joke, that's in New York that might be actually working. Exactly.
That what?
I
That what?
promised my sister actually one time said, she goes, all my friends, when they were listening to you guys on the telecom, when they were listening, they're like, we don't get it. We're up 6 o'clock and then we got to get out and then we're working till 5 o'clock and then we're running home and picking up the kids and going to make dinner and then they're like, how do you guys, you're just there for an hour, relax. I'm like, I know. Can somebody else call in that actually understands what it means not to be?
Oh, turn it on. Can you do that? I don't know how to do that. Okay.
They're like, you could do self-care. We're like, yes, we do self-care all the time.
Wow.
I was thinking Shannon the Sue's going around.
Great. Terrific. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Now's the time. Now's the time. I want to
Anyone on the
coach
line,
somebody.
anyone on
If
the
this speaks to you.
teleconference, if you'd like
I'd like to coach
add
somebody.
your comment, we'd love to hear from the 718 numbers. Come on, tell us what it's like over there in the East Coast.
It's hard.
So the question is, the coaching is, I need a volunteer from the phone lines. Do you feel way too stressed out
I didn't know where she lives.
in your life? Call me and we'll brainstorm ways to make your life better. So basically, anybody who's listening on Facebook, you can type in a question on teleconference. You can call in, you are called in, hit *6, and then you can ask the question. If
On Facebook, you could type it in if you'd like
Right.
Leah to coach
it's
you
better in
through.
person.
Yeah,
If you're on
have a good
Facebook and you want to talk in person, then call the number that's on your screen, right? It's on their screen? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, so just call that in. And because we're going to walk somebody through their life and de-stress it. Okay? Is there somebody here who wants to do it? Is anyone *6ing? Why?
Yeah, gosh.
So, okay. So here's the question that's on the table. What are the potential attitude shifts she could make in terms of expectations about her life, in terms of prioritizing her life, in terms of emunah, in terms of getting supported? What are some things she can do? There's logistic things she can do, and there's attitude things she can do. And here's the message for today. There is always something you can do. We talked about before the violin, oh, this happened to me. The problem with the violin, if both your hands are, one's holding the violin neck and one's playing the violin and it's like, woe is me, and why did that happen to me? Whatever. You don't have any hands left to do something. And doing something. Our tradition is that we take action. Sometimes it's smarter action than less smarter. Sometimes we talk to people. We have role models and we have coaches and mentors in our life, and we can ask them, hey, what would you do if you were me? There is always something you can do to make your marriage better, to make your life better, to de-stress your life. There's always something. So we're going to explore some of those things. So let's start with the first one. What are some shifts she could take in terms of her expectations about what her life should have looked like? Let's hear.
Well, this is why I kept saying in the beginning, I don't have a good feel for it. Did she have expectations about her life? Did she expect she was going to live in a mansion with 12 housekeepers? I don't know what her expectations were.
Right, but her expectations about her current life is, for sure, it should not be this way.
Right.
It shouldn't be this way. Like, this is not how it should be.
Right.
So how is getting over that? That would help her, yeah? If she realized, okay, instead of saying it shouldn't be this way, it shouldn't be this way, how about working on this is the way it is? Accepting it in a sense of, okay. Yeah, not comparing. Brilliant.
Really, we're not comparing yourself to an imaginary self, like what you wish.
Or her niece or her friend.
Yeah.
Or to the Housewives of Hancock Park.
To the Real Housewives of Hancock Park. Don't compare yourself to us.
No. Not that we haven't, but hold on a sec. Everybody here has their own challenges, yeah?
Yes, of course. I need 2 more housekeepers.
There you go. Okay, what are some of the attitudes?
No, but I'm curious, Leah, where's her husband in it? Meaning, where's her husband in this picture?
Okay, we hearing
Because I
that
feel
question?
like her husband was not mentioned at all. Where is he?
Right, that's
I mean, his mother's in the house, right? Does he get her out in the
They
morning?
show them bias. That's what I'm trying to.
I really don't have a good grasp of
Right,
the
where's
situation.
Husband. And is he on the weekend when she's when she wants her nap? Is he playing with the kids?
Yes.
Like, where is he? I feel like if he was
Is that why she gets a nap?
integrally involved, I think that would be
Mother-in-law
huge.
watches them shops
If he
after.
said, "I'll take the kids for an hour and a half to walk while you're sitting and reading your magazine."
We don't know. Maybe he does.
No, obviously not, because
Yeah,
they're
no,
around
he's not.
her
He's not.
and they keep going to talk to her. They keep bothering her.
Yeah.
I have to run when I want to be left alone. I have to go to the bathroom and pretend I'm in the bathroom. And my kids will literally be like, "Ma, it's taking you so long." And I'm like, "I know, it's one of those days. I'm so sorry."
What's wrong with your rooms?
No, because that they feel like it's a little bit, they could cut. The bathroom is like sacred. No one bothers you when you're in the bathroom.
No, they don't.
She's got them trained. Don't worry about it. So the question is,
Tips for how to get privacy.
so let's get to that. That's the next question here. What conversation could Rachel have with her husband or mother-in-law or kids that would ease her own stress level? What are some conversations she could have?
She could ask for some help.
Ask for some help. Okay, what else?
If she was my friend or sister or whatever, and she called me up with this, I feel like I would need to get a better grasp of her life. But I would say, like, okay, what are you doing in those 3 hours? Because, like, 3 hours is a lot of time. Why don't you pick a Sunday and stockpile your freezer? Why don't you go to an exercise class during those 3 hours twice a week? Why don't you ask your mother-in-law to
I'm going to have her call you.
Yeah, no,
About exercise class, but she can't breathe.
Yeah.
She can't breathe because she's clearly not planning her time well and feeling
Right.
like
She
in
needs time
control of her
management.
time. She feels like it's in control of her. She's tired. Maybe her mother-in-law. I don't know what the
How old is her
mother-in-law
mother-in-law?
situation is,
Is
but
she
maybe
old?
she could either make use
She's
of that.
she's
or,
older, but she goes to adult
Yeah,
daycare.
maybe she could peel the vegetables and make a soup
Yeah,
once a week.
she doesn't. I
Is
asked her,
this,
does she
is this a
help?
real person?
Yeah, they're all. I can call.
You cannot make up this story.
I just think that the situation could be so remedied with, like, first of all, just into, like, physical, just, like, physically, like, planning better and organizing so much of that. And then also, like, from me, it sounds like, she's not complaining about issues with her children.
Right.
So she obviously has, Baruch Hashem, it sounds like 3 healthy children that are going to school and the principal's not
Yeah.
following. So right away, I'm not really sure where the, overdose of stress is coming from. I wish her well all the years. It doesn't sound so bad. She's not
Well,
complaining
you
about
can
Shalom
handle a
Bayis.
lot.
Or her
You're an
mother-in-law.
incredibly
She's not
capable
her
woman.
mother-in-law.
She's not
So-
complaining about Shalom
Maybe
Bayis.
she's
She's
not
not
good
complaining.
well. Maybe
She's
she's
living with her husband and mother-in-law. They're all getting along. She must be an amazing person. She doesn't realize
Yeah,
how
sure.
much she can tap into and realize and be proud of what she's done and just, what she can do. I think she just needs to be like a little bit reset.
She needs a little bit more proaction,
Yeah.
proaction, or
Certain
whatever.
things are just very
Is that a word,
basic, and
proaction?
certain things are
Is
just.
it- But see, the issue is that there are conversations she could have. She could sit down with her mother-in-law and say, I need talk about what her needs are. Listen, for lunch, instead of me making you lunch every day when you come back from adult daycare, I'm going to be bringing food in. Maybe not sushi or no whatever, but or we're having sandwiches now.
Getting a housekeeper than buying a sushi. It's the same price.
Yeah, that's true. That's
The
true.
fix,
So much
the ladies talk show fix is get a
I'm just saying-
housekeeper.
I'm just saying.
You know what? Maybe her attitude is she wants to do it, she doesn't want to take. I think that's part of this.
Oh, wait.
She wants
She's
to
bringing
be
up a
extra,
very
she
good
wants to
point.
be able to do it
Yeah.
all.
Right, she could be one
And
of
who
those
knows
like
what kind of dinners
martyrs,
she's
like,
making. Maybe
always
she's
on
all-
China and
Maybe it's all of her expectations in her.
On China, she never does the linens. Do you think she's serving on China? Yes, but come on.
There are some people that they'll never buy, anything else. Everything's like, no, I got to do it. Like maybe she has it. You never know how.
Maybe
good
her
her-
expectations
Because she said that she has time, but she feels guilty. So maybe she's really coping, but she doesn't feel that she's doing everything in
Right, she
the
might be
best way
perfectionist.
possible, or however her
She
mother
wants to
or
do it
husband
all.
or someone,
Yeah.
because she said she has time, but
Maybe.
she feels guilty taking
Introduce
it.
her to a few
So that's
take-up
like more
places.
issue. Maybe she feels not appreciated or not doing
Yeah.
them.
But that's probably her main thing is if on that the whole week she'll be continue what she's doing, and she should just try that on that hour and a half that she has her own time to set up something proactive. My husband will take the kids out. The kids will have play dates out. My mother-in-law they'll
She
all
needs
be in my
logistic
mother-in-law's
support,
room, and
yeah.
they could play together in my mother-in-law's room. If she sets up that time is sacred, she can go to the bathroom, stay there for an hour and a half.
But she said she feels guilty about that.
But
That's
I'm
different.
saying if she sets
not
it
that
up
she
that her
doesn't
kids
have
no,
to.
because she
So
sees her
here's
kids
where we
around
answer
her.
the guilt. Here's where we answer the guilt of self-care, because we all have this guilt of self-care, this guilt of making sure we're taken care of. Okay, some of us don't.
You're looking at a room and everyone's like, what? What guilt? Wrong lady.
Self-care is very important.
So it's very important, and it's probably at the very, very bottom of our to-do list. So, what does our Masura say about stress? What's the answer? Right? We have beautiful, beautiful answers. Bottom of page 61, right? Of
The Marriage Secrets
The
on
Marriage Secrets.
Amazon.
Buy the
Get
book.
your copy.
Yeah.
Put it on your bedstand. Take it to the bathroom with you.
Don't throw your bedstand. It's like the
So I'm going to read you Rav Moshe ben Chalafta said, "The Holy One, blessed be He, could find no container that would hold Israel's blessing as well as Shalom." Similarly, Sifra Bechok, I should know how to say this, Kosai teaches, even if you have food or drink, without peace, they are worthless. Shalom is equivalent to all blessings. So there's no value that's more precious to Hashem than peace. So how does that help us with stress? So the way it helps us with stress is if we know that the most important thing to God is peace, right? It doesn't say the most important thing to God is accomplishing. It says peace. Now our stress level can go away. We can ratchet down everything, because if we focus on peace, meaning if the house is flying, the beds aren't made, the beds are never made, we don't eat on China, we don't whatever, like, that's okay. If we're nice to our kids, if we're nice to our husband, if we're nice to our friends, if we know that the ultimate goal, and it is a container of everything, it is equivalent, Shalom is equivalent to all blessings. Meaning if that is our eye on the ball, is peace in the home, peace everywhere, peace wherever we interact. For single people, I asked Rav Shlomo Kamenetsky, I said, what is for single people? He said, Shalom with whomever they meet. So if we know the most important thing to God is Shalom, then we stop beating ourselves up because we're not making the house look like the neighbor. We're not shooting ourselves. I didn't get this done. I didn't get that. We're not so hard on ourselves. When we are sitting there, when this woman is sitting, this is what I told her. So when you're sitting on the couch and you're telling the kids, not right now, you take care of them all week, like for an hour and a half. Are you crazy? Right? When you are sitting there, you are actually working on shalom in the home. She's kind of like, oh, guilt gone, like gone. And by working on that shalom and the peace in the home, you're building something for eternity. Getting the dishes done, getting the beds made, getting the whatever you're doing with her mother-in-law. And I said, is the relationship good? She goes, yeah, whatever, normal conflicts of living under the roof with somebody. But no, that wasn't her stress. A lot of her stress came because she didn't have logistics planned very well in her life. Nobody ever taught her. She had I think she was an only child. I can't remember. I was talking to a few people this week. I think she was the only child. And so she never saw what is it like to run with 3 little kids in the house and your mother-in-law in tight quarters. So she's got logistic issues, but certainly having her focus on shalom means that everything she did, if in the morning, if the routine didn't go the way she went, this one was wearing one blue sock and one red sock, and that one, whatever she's doing is coming out messed up. As long as she has shalom, she had a successful day. And that's the whole take-home message about stress in our lives, that by prioritizing our husband as our number one priority and recognizing that shalom is the most important aspect of what we create in our life. And if we focus only on shalom, everything else, fine, however it comes out, fine. We focus on shalom, that's the key. And anything else that our expectations aren't met, we don't feel like we're getting the support we need. Get the support, make lists, make charts, talk to people who've done it, get on the phone with people and say, how do you do dinners? Oh, you have the same dinner, like you make it on Monday and you have the same dinner Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you make something for Thursday and then you have, like, really? And your family's okay with it? Like, they better be okay with it. That's all I'm doing. That's it.
Not okay with it? What if you let go, but your family members aren't letting go?
Then you sit, very good question. If your family members aren't okay with you downing your, what's it called? Upping your game? They're downing your, here you're downing the game, but upping your shalom, right? Exactly. Good trade-off. So if you're downing your game and they're balking, you sit them down and say, listen, something's got to give in this house. Either, I can yell at you more. Or you can make dinner. Yeah. Or mommy's stress level or wifey's stress level is just too high. It's too high, and it, and I'm not getting the sleep I need, and I need to learn to take care of myself, both so I can take care of you, but also so you'll learn how to take care of yourself. How are they going to learn this? So by going for shalom, you take things off your to-do list, off your task list. Yes, you will not have a Pinterest Shabbos afternoon, okay? Your table will not have the little new red thing or whatever, okay? I get it. Some of us are dealing with that, and some of us are dealing with, oh my goodness, Leah, are you crazy?
Maybe this girl should get rid of her Instagram account.
Right, there you go. That's it. That's it. Too much time setting up the thing. But some people really have too much to do, and they're not doing that, okay? So let's be real. I mean, for the majority of people, it's there's too many things. What'd you say?
She's listening. She's like, I am never calling again.
That's it. Yeah, hello.
They're obnoxious.
But the issue
we love you. We think you're great.
No, it's fantastic. But the issue is that we need to, there are people who are at that level of stress, but there has to be a way to either have conversations, to trade off with friends, or to and it could be that maybe she's meant to do in those 3 hours work, make a certain amount and pay somebody else to do some of the other shifts. Who knows? But as we always say, there's the there's something you always can do with your attitude or the logistics of your life. And if she, gets herself together and recognizes that shalom, that's the first brick in the wall. Recognizing shalom is the most important, then you're like, oh, all this other stuff, it's not number 2. It's like number 100 and 1,000 down there. Shalom is up here, and everything else doesn't have numbers, you know what I mean, in terms of importance. Once you understand that, your day can be fantastic because your day, you didn't get anything accomplished. None of the items on your to-do list, but you created shalom. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah, and if every night she literally, right before she goes to crashes and is exhausted, goes to sleep, and she thinks to herself, I didn't poison my mother-in-law's lunch today, and she's still alive. That's
an
successful.
accomplishment. That's an accomplishment. Okay, let's give the wrap up and the homework. Okay, but also I wanted to reiterate for those of you who might be late on the call or for whatever, if there's a topic you would like to discuss, and those in the room too, after class come up and say, Leah, can you cover this topic? Can you cover this section? Or here's a question I want you to talk, or a whole show on X or Y or Z. We'd love to hear it. We're here to make shalom bias for everybody, and we want peace in the home. We want everybody to get their questions answered. So I'd love to have some input. Okay, Leah's secret of the day today is there's always something we can do to improve our own life, either logistically or our attitude about it. That's the lesson for the day. And the homework of the week, drop one item from your task list. Now, if you're the kind of person who is totally harried and frenzied and always with your task list, to-do list or whatever, you can drop one a day. Other people, just dropping one this week is fine. Just one item. Like you're about to go barrel ahead and get the whatever. Look, it's the week of Purim. Oh, we have 2 weeks. As a matter of fact, we are not meeting next week. It's Purim. Okay. So next week class is not being held. Okay. So you've got 2 weeks to do the homework. So whatever it is, you're going to run off and do something, or you're going to make, you're going to do something, cross it off your task list with the sure knowledge that is going to help bring more peace in your home. And not only that, you'll be able to come back next week and report it. Okay. You'll be able to report your homework, and we won't leave it all on to read everything.
I sometimes write something on my to-do list that I even did, so I could just cross it off.
Right.
Like after
Very good. Very
Totally
good.
know that
Very
feeling.
good. Very good. Yeah. Okay. So fantastic.
I'll put it down.
check. Okay. So here, the homework is drop one task from your to-do list per day or for the week. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. This is the Ladies Talk Show. This is Leah Richeimer. We look forward to seeing you every Wednesday, 11 a.m., except next week. Every Wednesday, 11 a.m. on Facebook and on the teleconference. Thank you so much for joining us.
you.
Yay.